Uh, I know, Kenji, you and I can find at least a couple bingos. Can people in the chat who perhaps are newer to the game see any? One thing you might want to do is look for some common suffixes, patterns to end a word, like IES, IEST, perhaps. Um, I see bingos with a T, with an R. There's definitely a few that will play there. Um, there's one with a V. That would be a common word. The V one might actually be a, no, that would put the S on the start, which we're not going to want to do. Uh, so which bingo would you be looking to play here? Perhaps something like Griges. No, that would, Eggiest. Oh, he's being super aggressive for the content. So Jello Mocha's earning some points for correctly predicting that Josh is going to make what we call the content play. You can put an L before that for leggiest, someone who's very tall with long legs. That's the only hook I see, but it's a very aggressive play. When you're taking the early bingo for 70 points, you wouldn't normally want to make that sort of play, but Sid doesn't have an L, so at least for now, it's going to work out well for Josh. Neither player has an L. I don't hear Kenji. I don't know if he's been disconnected from the chat.
Sorry, I think, is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I hear you.
Okay. You can do a few different things.
I bet
Yeah,
you wouldn't have made this play.
I probably would not have made this play, no.
No, it's
It's not
very
that
much.
bad. The L doesn't
No,
hit
it's,
you that hard, because hitting the double letter with the L is actually pretty hard.
and we were just talking about plays that a human might make versus a play a computer might make, and this is definitely a play that maybe a computer would make more often than a human. Although
No, actually, a computer would never make this play.
maybe I'm just thinking about the old ISC bots that love to make plays like this.
Oh, yeah, some of the weaker computers might make
They
it.
weren't exactly very intelligent. Most human players don't like to play like this. This is definitely up Josh's alley, though.
You can do these sorts of things okay, especially if you think your opponent's going to block too much. Like if you think that
And
Sid
Sid
is going to,
will.
if Sid
Yeah.
thinks he's going to play something like FA, making
Right.
FE and AG, then making plays like Eggius is actually fine.
That's a good point.
Sid should just leave
Considering
this
Sid's
alone.
defensive tactics, yeah, and it looks based on what he has set up that he's not going to really uh, go to that spot right away.
He might. He might be playing Boa over making OE and AG. I wouldn't rule that out for Sid at all.
Actually, but you put the B up there, and even if he has an L, you could still get a big play,
I
right?
agree. I wouldn't do this, but I think he is
No.
thinking about things like this.
Um,
I hope not. I think you should just leave this one alone. But
and hello to Happy Wanderer in the chat. Is that our Victor Mac?
I believe
If so,
so.
congratulations.
Yep. Except OG is not a word.
Yeah. Oh boy. OG Ananobi of the Raptors.
Correct.
Um,
I mean, I'm not surprised. That is the sort of thing. I don't think Sid would leave that spot. So that given that this is Sid, I think this is actually fine. Although I'm sure Josh didn't take into account for that.
My commentary was bad though because every OG Ananobi fan knows that the commentary is OG oh my, as the Raptors announcer likes to say. So I delayed OG oh my for that play.
How are your Raptors? Do you have any hopes for your Raptors making the playoffs?
I think they'll be like competing for the play-in sort of game, but they're sort of in a year where they're more developing their young talent, and without a lead scorer, they can't make any noise.
Right.
But they do have a lot of good talent and great leadership, so like ownership and stuff. So I'm excited for them in the long term, even if the short term I'm not.
Yeah.
So Sid still has Oba set up on his rack.
He's still gonna play over there, which is.
No, he's gonna play it.
Okay, good.
That looks like a better idea to me.
Yeah, I agree. I might keep the B instead of the F, just because you bingo a lot more with the B.
And thank you, Chess Bunzo, for that gifted sub to Mac. He already won $600, and now he's going to get a free subscription to Josh's channel for the next month.
Yes, thank you, Chess Bunzo, for the gift sub.
Okay, so we're looking to Josh. He has the Q, which comes with the U this time, which he will like. He also has a very nice lead thanks to both his bingo and Sid's 2-letter mistake. So as he has a bigger lead, to me, he's not going to want the variance of Sid getting an easy L play there. Is that the wrong way to look at it?
Sid played 3 tiles off, so...
That's true, yeah. He's not likely to have drawn one.
I mean, he might play quit. Like, it's whether you play quit there or you play quit to the team Amniote to kind of block it. Because it's not that big of a sacrifice necessarily. So it just depends on how you evaluate those 2 things. I think this is fine though. Like 6 more points is 6 more points. That E hook, you have the E for like Came and things like that, which is good
6 more points, and you're not leaving that T with the leave that you didn't really want it.
Right.
So Sid's close to funerary, but there's no Y.
Nope. Fremular, but there's no L. He's probably just going to play frame of some sort. He doesn't really want to block it, but he's not going to sacrifice points to keep it open. That doesn't make sense either.
Welcome to the chat, Hack1. Veggiest is not good, at least in this dictionary. Perhaps in the International Dictionary. As Sid plays frame, which scores nicely, partially obscures that top line, whether he was intending to or not. As Josh does draw that L, and he plays it quickly. And yeah, like you said, even if you get the L down, you're not necessarily going to be hitting a huge play.
Right, this is 48, and he burned his only vowel doing it. So
45.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem. Quackle makes me look better with my math than I would otherwise. So now Sid's in a lot of trouble. He has 2 O's and a U. He's probably still kicking himself over that OG play.
It's not too bad yet. Like the board's.
It's not over, but what would be your thought process here?
Well, you're just trying to bingo. I think it's pretty.
Yeah.
Basic. At this point, it's not much. The board's not in any risk of dying. Like the wins aren't great now, but like the ST part of the board is not. It's very hard to like openly kill that. Like you can always have something there most of the time. The only way that Josh could really kill the board is killing the bottom left, which would just be really hard. So I'm not too worried about the board if I'm Sid. I'm just trying to bingo as often as I can right now.
So he plays Upo with the idea of tacking the N onto it that he's holding on to give himself a lane.
So this is interesting on Josh's side because Josh is going to want to block the board. It's just hard to do it.
Yeah, with his commanding lead here, he will want to block. He's up 189 to 70 as I update the score for everyone.
Like in general, you want to be killing a quadrant. So you want looking at the bottom of the board, and I'm like, okay, how can I limit one of those 2 sides?
And that's not so easy to do.
Yeah.
He could play framed and like disc or disc guy. Does disc guy probably not take a hook?
Well, it doesn't take a hook, but the problem is that then, I mean, it does okay in terms of blocking the bottom left. The I is going to get paralleled across, so the bottom right is going to be open for sure.
He'll hang on to the I, his only vowel.
interesting.
Would you have played the eye there?
I think it's close. I'm not sure. This makes it so that you can go down easier, but you can go down no matter what here.
Not no matter what, because Upo doesn't take an S.
Well, disc takes. I mean, disc guy though is always gonna. You're always gonna get like IT or IN that's gonna go across, and you're never gonna be able to stop all of that.
No.
So, like in the long term, you're not blocking anything over there. The whole purpose of disc is to try to stop your opponent from going down the left side.
Right, which it does pretty nicely. There's still ways to go down from the QUI.
Right, but you can stop like that. Like that's Josh's next objective is to either stop that or to stop, or to play off of it and just like eventually kill that branch.
Right. And he can look to clog things up on the right side of the board, playing beneath or above Upo, perhaps.
And it's gonna be rough. Like even if he plays like those are all gonna take S hooks. Disc is gonna take a hook. The C in disc is gonna go down a lot of the time, even if all those things are accomplished. It's gonna be pretty hard to do that. I don't think there's much hope in. You're never gonna get to actually clog down the bottom right. I think at least not in the short term. Maybe 3 or 4 turns down the line you can, but I don't think you can make a plan to do that in the immediate future.
And I don't think he necessarily needs to plan in that direction either. He'll look to balance scoring with also trying to close quadrants down as he can. Sid's going to play long here with a turn. This could maybe let Josh.
He'll play Aura Race. He's lined up already.
Sorry. Yeah, so it's going to lead to a bingo right away, and that's going to make
So the right play for Sid with most racks here is going to be to open a second triple-triple. It's actually the right thing to do.
Right. I do that a lot when I'm down. If there's one triple lane open, it's time to open a second one because they can't block both.
Right, and he's going to be down 3 bingos. Like, actually down 3 normal bingos.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, it's 282 to 90. So it's not looking good for Sid.
And he has to play Barry now, almost for sure. Yeah. Like he has no option. And
I think he will play that because, like you said, I don't know what else he could really be considering. It would be a huge mistake to play something like Bunny or Wenny and close off that triple with the end of a turn. It just doesn't score anything when you're down 190. Like, if it's a closer game, then all of a sudden a 40-point play doesn't look bad. But at this score, it's not doing anything for him. Yeah, Josh is committing legal murder. No chess bunzo. The series is 5 games to 3 for Josh. So if he wins this, it's the 6th and final game. He does have Barry set up on his rack.
He can actually also play like Burn. Like I know that looks crazy because you're sacrificing a lot of points and keeping a Y, but like the Y is a really bad triple tile.
Right. The N is better to triple through.
And I know it looks crazy because that's such a sacrifice, and if you don't get there, then you're pretty much in gigantic trouble. But to be honest, if he doesn't get there, no matter what, he's in gigantic trouble.
Yeah, I mean.
Like this is like if he has to go and do this normally with the slow 3 bingo slow route, like that's brutal. Like trying to come up behind like 180 points on this board is just it's gonna happen very rarely.
Well, especially because Josh can just try and score 30. He doesn't have to try and set up to a bingo.
Right.
He can just keep trying to keep that lead out of reach.
Yeah, and just play a low variance, and
Josh does have Chevy. He has Heavy.
He's gonna look to play through the end. The Y is a lot worse lane, so he'll sacrifice some points even if he has to just spot the end.
And he doesn't have to play through the N if he can't find something. He can play through the R of orreries to reach the triple, and it still takes out that possibility of a play times 9.
Right. So, like, worst case, like Varric or something like that. It goes with Heaven.
Heaven looks good.
Yeah.
It scores so many points with his lead. It's just going to add to it. Heaven will take some back extensions, like Heavenly would be an obvious one.
That's good for Josh, though.
Yeah.
Sid's not going to really be able to come back in the game with that, but Josh can. Josh's idea is the Y dies, and then I want to win the game even if Sid draws 3 bingos. Right. And he draws the blank, and yeah, this is pretty much over, honestly. Yeah, this is going to be pretty bad. Jouncy's going to come down.
Well, first we see Shrew from Sid, so he does get 45 points. Right. It's up to 171 for Sid now. I have Josh's score right, 330.
And Jouncy comes down.
Yeah, and Jouncy does really well not to open up the bottom left because you can't put a tile above J.
The bottom left doesn't matter now. The bottom left is going to get opened, but the reason why that matters a little bit more is because you're worried about overlaps that, like, bingos that can hit for like 100. So, like, if that were like an R or something like that, then you could have like a Z play, like a 140-point Z bingo or something. But yeah,
but it definitely kills that. And Sid has a nicer looking rack here, but I don't see any bingos.
I don't
the R would be the easiest lane, the R of orreries.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of lines to be.
No, there's not.
Like,
and the top left is completely done.
Well, it's not actually because of the FIED. Like, he almost has like Linnea or something like that. Like,
I did not look at the disconnected. You're right. So for people who, or for people who didn't see it like me, the F in framed and the E in leggiest allows you to put an I between them, FIE, and then you could end the word in either a D or an R or an S. So it is leaving some options to bingo there.
I mean, in theory, Sid needs to keep something that needs to keep the D for that line because he actually needs that line to get played because he's going to run out of space.
Exactly.
The bottom left is open, but at most you're going to be able to play like 2 bingos in that area. So he needs a third place to play. He needs either the W and Shrew to end up in a bingo with some sort of bingo possibility, or he needs the FE on the top to bingo. Like, one of those two he's going to actually have to use if he wants to bingo 3 times.
Right.
I know that's unlikely.
Well, but at this point, he needs unlikely.
This is why 3 bingos is a lot. Because it's unlikely. You know, if he has a bingo that he plays from the U, for example, he'll get to play there, and then Josh is going to play there, and he'll have room for 1 more bingo in that space. But that's it.
I thought Sid might play something beneath the Q there. Ain looks reasonable to me.
I think you really need to hold the A when you do that. I don't think you can play the A. I think you need it both for making the FE spot more likely and just to make bingos down that line more likely.
But it just seems like it would be so easy for Josh to crush that spot and pull his lead even farther ahead.
Well, it's going to be easy for Josh to crush any spot. That's the problem. But yeah, that is a downside of that.
Maybe if he'd played Lin instead of Ain, but then he would have been leaving a vowel-heavy leave. What does Josh have? FL. Okay.
He's going to play aft. In situations like this, you actually, if you're Josh, do not mind opening the bottom left because it's going to get opened anyway. Like, you're never going to keep it closed.
He almost had Talk Fest. Too bad there's no Walk Fest. And Sid's just given up.
Yeah. Sid's resigning, essentially.
And that's fair. Like, he's not winning this game.
Yeah, I can't really blame him.
I think it's been a long weekend. he's on stream. He's down 413 to 216 after that play.
He has walkways, by the way. Walkways does come down.
Oh, wow.
These are the things that Sid needed to draw.
Yeah, exactly. But not this time.
No.
Very Aerosmith reminiscent. Walk This Way.
I remember that song. That was before my time a little bit, but
Walk This Way.
Don't delay.
So that comes down for...
that was before my time. I was probably not alive when that song was a big thing, but...
Well, we're about... yeah. We're about the same age, so if I know it, you're expected to know it. So
okay, fair enough.
Sid needs the R in a different position for Taperoid, but he needs a lot more than that.
I mean, between the FE and like the US, like he almost has a lot of things that are like weird nines. But alas, the UN, you know, there's some different ways that nines could happen here.
With that FE spot also still in play, he does have ID still. After that allied turn, you kind of feel like he's given up, but he's now counting how many are left, or at least getting a rough impression.
Yeah.
Did he exchange? No. He is down about 300.
Yeah. So in theory, in terms of what Josh should be looking to do, like if you have a rack like this and you're up by a lot, you should be looking to set the X up, just in terms of general Scrabble advice, because either your opponent has to block it, in which case they're not bingoing, or they have to leave it alone and then you get 55 out of it. So it's kind of like one of those sort of things where you're trying to do something in the... You're trying to do different sort of things that even if you lose like 10 points in exchange, losing 10 points at a time isn't going to lose you the game.
Yeah, it's fine when you're up a lot. It takes their attention away.
Right. So something like Gonef, for example, in the top, creating an X spot would be like a good idea in theory.
Okay, I see what you mean there. That's a good idea. It would leave 3 consonants.
Right, but you'll draw a consonant or a vowel eventually. Even if you draw...
Well, you might, but there's only 5 tiles in the bag already.
Yeah, well, at this point, you're dead. I'm just saying, like, in general, like, this game is very, very over. But
well, you think it's over, but the Detroit Lions won today. So if the Lions won, you know, maybe Sid can come back from 300 with only 5 in the bag.
True. If that happens, anything can happen.
Here's the pool, in case people are wondering what Sid is considering.
The Lions aren't even that bad this year, to be honest. Like they're not a 0-win team.
They've lost like a zillion close games, and they weren't trying to compete this year. They traded away Stafford. They knew it was a rebuilding year.
Right. It's not like some of the 0-win teams in the NFL were seriously really terrible.
Yeah, like the previous Lions who went 0-16.
Right. That team is this team is a lot better than the 0-16 Lions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They've already won one and tied one now. They're practically going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping Sid will just throw in the towel, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. I started at 9:30 Toronto time. It's now 5:10.
Fair enough.
But we've made it this long. We might as well last these last couple minutes. Josh?
Gunmen is one of those racks that Josh has gun women, which isn't a word, but it's like one of the only men words that doesn't have women that I can think of.
That's surprising. A bit sexist too. PETA, okay.
Okay.
I don't think we'd really considered what he could do there, because
I don't care.
well, nothing's going to change his winning perspective, and at the end of the day,
Josh could phony every single turn in the rest of this game, and he's still not losing. Is there any? He didn't draw anything even interesting. The only interesting part of Sid's side is, can he draw like a fancy word sort of thing? And I don't think he can.
Just for like style points?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like adicious isn't a word or something like that. Like, I don't know. Might be able to play a shrew. If a shrew was a word, you'd have addition.
Addition, yeah, that's almost fitting. something from the UN, I guess, but not with those tiles.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, it's always possible. There's a lot of weird UN stuff that doesn't really have anything to do with but
yeah, because he could also play a tile before and play through the He doesn't have to start with
Yeah.
Josh is just gonna
play Exogen,
which we saw earlier today.
Should we do a poll on whether Josh will play EE this game? We could if you want.
I think Sid should play Addition and see if Josh challenges a shrew.
He probably won't, actually.
Yeah, we already saw Sid Condos stay on the board, so I don't know if you were here for that. Condos was there, and somebody added SYD to the beginning.
Okay.
Just in a game that was out of reach, and it stayed.
Yeah.
Sid should play Sid.
That is a fair point.
Makes sense, logically. Josh should spend about 7 minutes on this turn.
That's if he follows this pattern of previous stream plays, he would spend about maybe 5 minutes, but he would spend a while.
But like at least in those other ones, there was the chance that the set could end in a tie and it might mean something. Now he knows, no matter what, the spread means absolutely nothing except for maybe a slight change in his average score if he cares about that sort of thing.
It's Josh. Josh isn't doing this because he'll take his time. He
will take his time. We'll play online games and I'll just play them out at the end and he'll take his time and he's a lot better than me at endgames, so. There's a $25 best Sid word prize. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. How can you beat Sid Condos?
Mozo.
That's a fun word.
I definitely, if there were a prize like that and I were playing, I would definitely, and I were out of contention, I would definitely just spend like all of every game trying to hit it.
I don't think I ever try for any of those words. Like they're always worth like $5, and I just don't care.
$5 is $5, man. So you don't want $5? Give it to me.
I mean, fly here, and I'll give you $5. How about that? The winner with a score of 560 to 295 is Josh Sokol, winning set 3, 6 games to 3. So congratulations to Josh.
Josh gets some. Yeah. Josh at least doesn't probably, doesn't feel overly distraught. I know that he's been stressed out for various reasons. He's always stressed out. These are stressful things to run. To be fair, I get it.
It's a stressful game. Life is stressful. COVID's been stressful.
That's true.
And well, we know that Mac finished first, $600, $300 to Noah in second, and we don't know who won the best Sid word, but I know it's on everyone's mind, so hopefully we'll get an update soon enough. But I think Josh is coming on, and I think then we'll get to sign off.
Thanks a lot, guys. Did I interrupt anything you were saying?
No.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for doing commentary. You could have played, though.
Assiduousness. That would have been a nice Sid word.
Assiduousness would have been a nice Sid word. Okay. I'm not sure I understand how that was playable, but okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. Okay. Really appreciate you guys, Kenji, Jared, and yeah, thanks for doing all the commentary. I'm sure it was extremely fun to watch and hear you guys talk about various stuff. So yeah, we're gonna wrap things up. You guys can sign out. Have any last words?
No, I have nothing left to say. Thank you and goodbye.
All right. Okay, everybody. First prize goes to, who was it again? Mac. Yay! Congratulations. Where is he? Oh, that's a milk carton. Congratulations to Mac. Second prize goes to Noah, who's on the other side somewhere. Yay! Where is he? Yay! Okay. Yeah, let's end things here. Let me see what chat is saying. Thank you so much to Sid for hosting this event. Honestly, couldn't have done any of this without Sid at all. Like none of it. None of it would have been possible. Like I'll tell you guys all the equipment we use. Like Sid bought like so much stuff just so that this could happen. So thank you, Sid. You're being thanked in chat. So this is the second installment of this. Hopefully more people, now that Jackson has won and Mac has won, I bet you anyone is just wanting to like sign up for this because they know that if they play me, Sid, and Noah, it'll just be a free win, right? All right. So that wasn't my joke, that was Kenji's joke, but thanks for laughing on his behalf. Yeah, thanks guys for coming. Thanks Mac for driving me all the way from Syracuse. He drove himself all the way from Burlington. So thank you, Mac, for driving me from Syracuse to come all the way to Chicago. And again, thanks everybody in chat. This was such a blast to put together. I mean, there was lots of headaches. I have a headache right now, and it took like all week to put together. But I think it turned out pretty well. So thanks again for joining, and hopefully there'll be another installment of this in the near future. Alrighty, ending the stream now. Love you guys, and see you guys soon.